What's up, everybody? I am on my way back to my office on a beautiful Monday afternoon and just wanted to take a few minutes to share some stuff. Had a pretty discouraging morning, and the reason I like to share on days like this is because I think a lot of people need to realize that not everything is always good. Life is not always easy, and a lot of people struggle through each and every day. And even I have been battling a lot of discouragement over the last couple months. And so this morning I was trying to get my mind and my heart focused on what my Monday mornings are like, and getting my task list started for the day and for the week, and just spent a few minutes in the Psalms, actually reading Psalms 41 through 44. Actually started in the 30s, but I got to Psalm 41, and towards the end of that psalm, probably verse 5 or 6, David writes, basically says, "By this will I know that you delight in me, that my enemies not rejoice over me in triumph." And I thought about that, and I contemplated on that fact that God delights in us. And you see that in the Psalms, and we understand that in the scriptures. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I think about God delighting in me, and my first thought is, are you sure? Or then why? Why would God delight in me? Or why does God delight in me? And I just had my face in my hands for several minutes, just praying through that. And I'm in the middle of a restaurant, and maybe people are watching me. I don't know. But my prayer to God this morning was, God, I need to know why, and I need to know how you delight in me. And I continued to read, and I was reminded in Psalm 44 how the Bible is contrasting the people of Israel from the peoples of the world, the people of Canaan. And it's mentioned in Psalm 44 that God judged them in their sin, that God took his hand from them. God did other things toward unbelievers, towards people who weren't his people, but in his people, in the nation of Israel, he delighted in them. And I thought about that, and even thought how much my life often mimics the children of Israel in their disobedience, in their rebellion, in their stubbornness, in their failures, and yet God delighted in them. And then someone sent me a song this morning. A buddy of mine sent me a song that was really encouraging as I was listening to that, and really the song asked the same question: God, are you still here? Are you still with me? Are you still beside me? And the overwhelming response of the song, the overwhelming response of Jesus is, of course I'm here. I'm always right beside you. And how he's a man of sorrows, a man acquainted with grief, and he's always there with us. And so then I thought about this. What's the demonstration? What's the proof of the fact that God has delighted in me? And the demonstration of that, the proof of that, is in the death of Jesus for his people. Romans 5:8, God demonstrated, commended his love toward us, and that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. And so that's the proof, right? That's the proof that we are precious to God. That's the proof that God delights in us, is the death of Christ for us. And I thought about that. And so I just want to encourage you today, if you're asking yourself or asking God if he loves you, or you're even contemplating how important you are, or how precious you are to God, I would just commend you to think and meditate on the death of Christ for your behalf and for mine, and that's God's proof to you, the fact that he delights in you. And then I was thinking about this, and I'll kind of wrap it up. I often talk to my daughters, especially the youngest one, especially Lily, and I'll ask her if she loves me, and she obviously, like a good 5-year-old, says, "Yes, I love you." And we play lots of games, and I ask her if she loves me more than this, or if she loves me more than that, or if she loves me more than ice cream, or if she loves me more than cake, or her favorite teacher, or her best friend. And like a good child, she always says she loves me more. But then sometimes I ask her why. Why do you love me? And sometimes she just says, because I do. And then I'll joke with her and I'll ask her, is it because Daddy is strong, or is it because Daddy's handsome, or is it because Daddy has a wonderful beard, or whatever? And she'll always say smile. She'll always smile and say yes. But then I thought about that this morning, how sometimes we're fishing for compliments, or we're fishing for reasons why people love us, and hoping that we find those answers in ourselves. That maybe people love us because we're beautiful, or maybe people love us because we're kind, or maybe people love us because we are giving, or whatever it is. But the problem with fishing for answers like that is ultimately we know the truth, we know the reality about ourselves, and no matter what someone gives as a reason for their love for us, if we're looking within, we're not going to be satisfied by their answer, because maybe they love us because we're beautiful, but we don't always feel beautiful. Maybe they love us because we're kind, but we know we're not always kind. Maybe they love us because of some external thing that we do or that we provide for them, some kind of benefit. But the reality is those benefits aren't always there. And so in human ways and relationships, human love and human ways of understanding that love, they fall short and they fail, and relationships get broken, and people don't love us like they used to love us, and things happen. And when we find our value and our worth from within, that people love me because, ultimately it comes down to our performance or our behavior, and how good God is in the gospel and not leaving us in that kind of love. In other words, God doesn't love us because of our performance. He doesn't love us because of our behavior. He doesn't love us because we're beautiful, or because we're kind, or because we offer anything to Him. He loves us because of the good pleasure of His will. He loves us because of His character. He loves us because of His goodness, not anything based in us. And so for myself, I want to be liberated from that way of thinking, and I want you to be encouraged by it, that God's delight in me and God's love for me has nothing to do with who I am or how good I am or what I can do for Him. And then I'll share one last thought. A friend of mine sent me a picture of something he was reading in a book, and for whatever reason I didn't get around to reading it over the weekend. When he sent it to me, I thought to myself, I'll just read it later. Then I remembered that picture this morning. I didn't know what it was or what the book said, but I went and read it this morning after I spent time in the Word, and after I prayed to God. God, I need to know how you delight in me and why you delight in me. And he sent me a quote from a book that talks about Sabbath and talks about rest. And basically the paragraph he sent me said that one of the beauties of the Sabbath is it reminds us in our rest that God delights in us and gives us rest, not because we need to work for it in order to attain it. And one of the beauties of Sabbath and one of the beauties of rest is the reminder that God is not interested in using us to do something for Him. God doesn't need us to do anything for Him. God delights in us because of who He is, because He's gracious, because He's kind. And He delights in us and wants us to enjoy that delight. He wants us to enjoy that rest. And it's ours in Christ. It's ours in Christ for us to enjoy. It's ours in Christ for us to rest in. And I hope that's an encouragement to you today as I'm driving and my gimbal's all kind of messed up and the angle of the camera is going crazy. So hope you can bear with that and enjoy that encouragement. Hope you can find rest in Christ today. And I want you guys to be blessed. Appreciate you watching. As always, go ahead and give me a like down below. Subscribe to the video or to the channel if you'd like. And you can always follow me on Facebook. I do quite a few live videos on there. And always, you can follow me on YouTube and share these videos if they're an encouragement to you. And again, I apologize for the poor video quality because it's all over the place. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you later. I'm Reaver Beard, and I'm out.